Hey guys, so I'm gonna go through a quick lap here at Laguna Seca. Um, my best time, I think, is like a 36.8. I have like a 36.5 in the optimal, but I just can't get it done. This track is terrible, and I hate hot lapping this car. But I don't really know much what I'm talking about. I come from the touring car world, so having a rear wheel drive is going to be a little bit different for me. So I don't really know much of the fundamentals about how to make this car go fast, but I do know lines, braking points, and throttle points. So we can go over kind of that, and then I can try and fumble my way through some of the concepts and theories that roll through my mind when driving this car. So we'll be coming down to turn one here. I'll hop in cockpit view. My braking mark that I've used is just a hair past this strip. Like you get past it, then you're really hard in a straight, braking in a straight line. And so what I've seen a lot of people do here at Laguna is brake in a straight line from here, where I'm at, to the point where I have my mouse. And what I like to do is I like to brake more towards the apex than I do right here, because what that allows you to do is it allows you to extend your braking zone a little bit. Because if you brake in a straight line from here to here, you don't have to start turning until you're here, where the black line is at. But if you brake from here to here, you have to start turning earlier because you're further out and you're further away from the apex to get it done. So I do a straight line type braking zone into this first apex right here. So that way, if you notice the wheel and the brake, I'm able to keep my wheel completely straight while under braking, but still making an attempt at making the turn. So then you get to this apex, and then you want to be on throttle as early as you can get. You can notice I give a little bit of pre-throttle, pre-apex throttle, right here, and then try and get to full throttle as soon as you can get. It's going to be a grab up to second gear, all the way down to first gear, and then get up on this curb again. Use all this exit. That was a fairly smooth one of mine. Then coming into turn 2 or 3, I don't know what you want to call it. To me, this is turn 2. Coming into turn 2, you pass this 2 braking marker. It's right kind of in the middle. It's a little bit awkward. You don't really have a great marker for it. I just kind of use feel where I'm at. You'd be a small brake, and the important thing around this turn is keeping the front, I guess around all these turns, is keeping the front end in the track. And you can accomplish that either by lifting off the throttle or doing a little bit of trail braking. In this particular turn, you need to slow down a little bit, so it's better to use trail braking to get the front end planted, because when the front of this car dips down, you can see the attitude of it. And when I hit the brakes, you can see it dip down. See how it squeezes, and that's when I start my turning, because once you load that front end, it kind of keeps it in the track a little bit. And then what you don't want to do is use so much throttle that then you squat the car back and then you lose front end grip. In this turn, I sometimes will go down to second. I did there, but it didn't show up on my, no it didn't. Sometimes I go down to second, sometimes I don't. I think it's a little bit quicker to go down to second. I found that out later in the session, but I just couldn't get a lap together. So then coming into turn 3, it's a lift right about this 2 marker. Maybe not the 2 marker. So I start my turn in a little bit, and then it lift, maybe a little brake, then right back on the gas pedal. That was the fastest one I'd done all day. So this one you don't need a lot to keep the front end in it, but if you lift too early and then you're back on gas, you understeer on mid-exit. If you on the throttle too long, then you start understeering here, and then you never get around to the corner. So there's like the perfect sweet spot. You're going to have to kind of watch the video, figure it out for yourself. I'm sure somebody's going to do it faster than I can. A little bit of trail brake, and then you absolutely need to be full throttle before you get to the apex. Then we'll fast forward up here. This is the hardest turn on the track. This one, my optimal's like literally 2/10 faster, and I can't figure out how to get back down there. I've been able to get close, but it's either I blow past it, or just I get in this dirt and I spin out. So all the way on the exit here, your braking point again is kind of like where this strip is at. I probably could go deeper, Maybe about right here based off of my optimal, but I don't really know. Down to third gear. And this one is all about getting on gas before the apex. If you can keep the front end loaded, get on gas before the apex, that's the fastest that you're going to go through here. Maximize your exit. Then coming up the hill, I just leave it in third gear. It kind of revs out a little bit, but that's not an issue. Use this 2 marker. The second I get past this 2 marker, you can see, at least on my FOV and all that fun stuff, you can see that red curb, and then my eyes immediately go to there. I grab a little bit of brake, again, to get the front loaded, because the car's loaded going up this hill, and then the second that you turn in, right here, you're going to lose, like it kind of drifts out. You can see and hear the understeer in the car here. I'll just play that again. You can see when I go over that crest, it understeers, then it hits the cambered, and then it grips. So you need to anticipate the grip. And then, you know, for just full throttle. Don't hit that curb, it really upsets the car. It won't hurt it, but it upsets it. Up to 4th gear. Then this one, the corkscrew sucks. I spun out so many times here, and I used the reset button a ton, so that's why I have like 45 laps, when in reality I did like maybe 10 clean ones, because I kept going off track and frustrated. So, and we're spinning out in this turn. So, I brake pretty much about the 3 board, heavy on the brakes. You're going to hit your ABS because you're going up over that hill. I haven't noticed any ill effects with it. You want to go down to 2nd gear. You probably could brake a little later, but consistently the 3 marker was happy for me and going to that 80% braking pressure. And then here, if you can get on throttle a little bit sooner than what I did, the better off you'll be. And you want to kind of lift throttle in between here, because if you keep it full throttle, your car's going to keep rotating this way, and then you go down that hill and you'll never get it back, and you're going to get nasty snap oversteer. So I like to lift the throttle when I'm making the wheel transition and over that crest. Up to 3rd gear. This is another one. You want to be a little bit tighter than you think, because there's just more rubber down there for some reason. It's the same thing with the touring car. There's just a lot more rubber. If you notice, I give a little bit of trail braking in it throughout the turn. I'm managing the throttle and brake. Not the best way that I could have gone around that turn, but it worked out just fine. Then this one, up to 4th gear, you're going to be braking just about the 2 marker, maybe a little bit earlier. This is actually the best final sector that I've done all day, so this is a really good representation. Just huck the car in there, because again, you're not going to have grip. When you start hit the brakes, you're going to be like, oh man, I'm going to fly off. But then if you keep the wheel in it, you get the car just a little bit sideways, then back on gas really early, and it hit that cambered, and it hooks and goes. So just trust the camber there, trust the grip of the car. On throttle, don't hit that curb, that one really upsets you. Then this, I could have broke a lot later, like properly at the 2 is a better braking marker than this one, because I was really fast in the last corner, but I was slower in this one. So I probably had about half a tenth to gain on this particular one. Really hard straight line braking. What you don't want to do is grab downshift in that 1st gear too soon and then get throttle too early, because that will spin you out. So you can see I had to get out of the throttle because I just didn't trust that the rear would stick. So anyway, but that's pretty much the lap. I'll just do a full watch of it. Sweet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday.